Are you good?
Hello. All right, out will be, anybody else?
What's wrong? I'm not getting back there.
Out will be McCoy, fibula, Reed, ankle, foot. Questionable will be Doxson, lower back spasms, Vernon Davis, concussion, Harris, concussion, and Secchi, knee, Anderson, hamstring, Bergstrom, ankle, Ioannidis, shin, Settle, pec, and Howard, hip.
Jay, what happened with Josh Doxson?
He just lower back spasms.
When did that occur?
That occurred yesterday after practice. This morning, I think he developed a little bit of deal, so he went. He's been in treatment all day today. We'll see how he's doing tomorrow.
How about with Vernon? Is that from Sunday? Yeah.
Well, he passed all the concussion tests on Sunday, and then yesterday, I guess it was, he was developing some symptoms, so we had to put him through the protocol type deal, and that's what's going on right now. Very similar to Maurice Harris.
Is there a chance he is able to return, or for Saturday?
Yeah, I don't know. This concussion protocol stuff is out of my hands. Once I know that they're in it, they have to pass a test, and then be cleared for practice and all that stuff. So I'll have to wait and see on that one.
With Adrian Peterson, obviously his production on the field speaks for itself, but what's it meant having him as a part of the team this year?
Well, it's been great. You know, anytime you can have a veteran presence like Adrian, it's always beneficial to the younger guys and to the football team state of mind. You know, you feel like you're in 4-minute drill or you need a yard, and you have him back there, you feel pretty confident you're going to get it. Hasn't always been pretty back there, but he has been a guy that's grinded out some tough yards and been pretty consistent all year long. And he's been a great role model for the younger guys as far as how to take care of your body for future life and in the NFL.
How much progress have you seen with Josh Johnson now in his second week as the number one?
Tell you what, from 1 week to the next, just huge progress. I mean, it's been 2 weeks, so he's been great, man. Just his comfort level, leadership. He's been, you know, I think guys tend to look a lot better with the more reps that they get. You know, if you're a backup quarterback, you're just throwing pat and go and then maybe getting some carded work, you know, it's hard to see your development. But when you're getting all the work with the ones, you can see a guy, you can talk to him about each individual throw, the footwork, the reads, the protections, and I can see he's getting more comfortable. You know, it's a difficult deal, but at least he's a guy with some brains and some confidence and can play.
We talked about this a little bit yesterday, but you guys have deployed now Chris and Byron on the field together, and through Chris's time here, even though he's someone who does occasionally split out, you've declined to use him with another back on the field. Why was now the right time to try to implement that into the offense?
Jordan Reed, pretty much. You know, I think whenever you get Chris Thompson, you're talking about passing situations, and then you don't ever want to take Jordan Reed out for another back. There's no reason to. You want Jordan Reed on the field at all times. Now that Jordan's out, you have to come up with different ways. And if Vernon's out, you have to come up with different ideas to try to get different people on the field. So that's really the only reason.
Just want to follow up with Monte. The decision to put him on NFI, what went into that?
Well, I mean, obviously, obviously it's out there on video, and that's a situation that has to be taken care of. So we put him on that list and had to get somebody else up. We got Reeves up in his place, and Reeves has been here on practice squad, knows what to do, and hopefully he'll be a participant on special teams and do some good things.
It's a non-football illness designation. Can you explain how that works in this situation?
No, I can't explain that, and I would if I could.
Do you expect Colt to practice next week?
Do I expect Colt to practice next week? He's doing more and more work on his leg, on a treadmill, and all that stuff. I think there's a possibility. I don't know how great that possibility is, but he's chomping at the bit for sure. But we'll have to wait and see.
I was just going to ask one more. With the guards, if Ty can't go, how do you see that shaking out?
Yeah, well, hopefully, you know, Bergstrom's questionable. He had a decent week. He got some work in there, so he's a candidate, obviously. And both Zach is a candidate. He played a little bit. So we got some options in there. We got Austin Howard, but he's questionable also at the hip that can play inside and outside, which is a good thing. And Luke Pawanko obviously played a lot at right guard, so we'll have that covered. And then we got Fuller from the practice squad off the Texans. He can play both center and guard. There's a chance he could be up as a backup type guy.
Sorry, one more, Monte. Was he injured as a result of that?
Injured?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. With Trent Williams' 7th consecutive Pro Bowl, obviously you've spoken as to how much he means. Do you have a sense, just in kind of the big picture, the teams, the guys you've been around, is he in that upper echelon of kind of best to do it?
Yeah, there's no question about it. You know, unfortunately, he hasn't really been able to play a whole year with me. He's missed some time with injuries. He's fought through some injuries. Last year, he had the knee that he fought through and played because of all the injuries and stuck out a few games. But he's just a guy that anytime you have him at left tackle, you feel pretty good about, you know, your situation there. And he's athletic. He's big. He's smart. He's tough. He can do anything you want him to do. He can pull. He can run out on screens. He can pass protect. He can run block. He's a great leader for the guys in the locker room. So he's the best. You know, it's first pick in a draft. You wouldn't hesitate taking a guy like that. He's a great player.
With corner, have you kind of decided whether you want Fabian on the outside or the inside? And then I guess, who would be the 5th corner after Adonis?
Me. No. Yeah, no, we have Adonis rolling right now as a 4th, and after that, you know, Reeves has been here. He can play inside, maybe play outside, and obviously, I just drew a blank. We just signed him. What? Harlan Miller. Sorry, there's a chance he could be up as a 5th, as long as we just got to get him up to speed.
Going back,
As for Fabian, yeah, the plan right now would be to leave him outside, but he has the ability to play both inside and outside. So,
when you talked about the guard situation and how questionable it is, and you already know you're facing a front that likes to stunt and do some things regardless if you have a healthy line or not. How do you anticipate a lot more of that, and how, given the situation, do you handle something like that? Because you need the communication, you need the quarterback, those guys. How do you handle that?
well, the center's got to take care of a lot of that. He's got to get the people in the right spot, and then athletically, we have to adjust to movement. You know, that's just the way it is. That's the way pro football is. If you don't adjust the movement nowadays, you have no chance in the running game or the pass game. So I think we'll be okay, though. We have to just change up our run schemes a little bit, change up our pass protections from time to time, and make sure we change the launch point of the quarterback to have a chance. If we think we're just going to drop back 7 steps and throw it every time, we're kidding ourselves. Or if we're going to hand it up the middle every play, it's not going to happen. So we got to just make sure we change it up. You know, that's our job as coaches to do that, and then their job as players to make sure they handle the movement.
Just kind of, what do you like from Fabian on that outside, playing outside corner? He was inside, and how do you think he's kind of adapted to that?
Yeah, I think across the board, from a DB perspective, it's always a little bit harder inside because of the space. You know, him playing on the outside, he's been doing a great job on the outside, and you know, right now that's where he's fitting up. Certain situations we might put him inside, but overall, this season I think he's had a productive season.
He was kind of being groomed to kind of take over at that nickelback spot most of the season until the injuries kind of changed around. So does that change like the future planning for where you guys see him?
You know, that we're not there right now. I think we're going to finish up these 2 games, and hopefully we can extend it from there, and then take it from you know, after the season's over, whenever that's going to be, and then we'll figure it out then.
After taking some lumps the previous few weeks, what does it do for a group's confidence to kind of have a game like you did last week where you kept an offense under 200 yards?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great situation. I think we know we can play football. It's just we got to make sure we're gap sound across the board in the run game. You know, in the passing game, we did a great job, you know, turning, you know, getting a pick at the end of the game, you know, which was a huge situation for us. And just playing team defense is the biggest thing. And then playing together as a unit, you know, from an offensive side, standpoint, special teams, and then on defense.
What are the challenges of facing a running back like Derrick Henry, who brings 6'3", 250 pounds or so?
Yeah, he's a big cat, you know, and we understand that. You know, we got to make sure that we swarm this guy, get around him. You got to have multiple hats on the cat because I always tell the guys, don't assume that he's down because he could always break tackles. He does a great job. He's got a good stiff arm. He makes plays in space. He's a good jump cutter. I mean, he's a phenomenal back. He's a good back. So we got to make sure that he's taken care of.
He's had over 400 yards these last 2 weeks, which is about half of his entire season total. What is he doing better now these last 2 weeks than he has previously?
I think just his vision points and seeing the hole open up and then hitting it as hard as he can, you know what I'm saying, and then getting through it. He's done a great job of, stiff arming guys across the board in the Jacksonville game, of course, and getting guys off of him. He's a physical, tough guy that has good sight lines and good vision, and we got to make sure that we get him down. Perfect.